I never believed in the supernatural, not even for a second. That was until the night I received a message from my brother. A message that changed everything. You see, my brother passed away 2 months ago, but that night, he was more real to me than ever before. I never imagined that I would be faced with something so impossible. Yet here I was, staring at my phone in disbelief, unable to tear my eyes away from the message that had just appeared. It was just after midnight when my phone buzzed, pulling me out of a restless sleep. I groggily checked the screen, thinking it was a late-night text from a friend. But when I saw the name, my heart stopped. It was a message from Mark, my brother. But he had been gone. How was that even possible? It wasn't just the name on the screen that chilled me to the bone. It was the words that followed. I stared at the screen for what felt like an eternity. The words were simple, but they sent a cold shiver down my spine. I'm okay. Don't worry about me. The message was short, but the weight of it was unbearable. How could he be okay? He died in a car accident. I was there. I saw it all. So how was he sending me a message? My hands trembled as I tapped the screen to open the message fully. It was like I couldn't look away, even though every part of me screamed to run. The next message was even more disturbing. I've been trying to reach you for days. I'm so sorry for the way I left. My heart raced, pounding in my chest. I could feel a tightness in my throat, as if the air around me had suddenly become harder to breathe. I scrolled up to check the sender's details. The contact was listed as Mark, just like his number. But there was no photo, no profile picture. I thought maybe I was dreaming. Maybe it was some cruel joke from a friend who knew how much I missed him. But then, the message took a turn. It wasn't just a text anymore. It was a photo of the two of us, Mark and I, taken years ago during a family vacation. I hadn't seen that photo in forever. I didn't even know where it was. But what scared me the most was the background. In the photo, there was a shadowy figure standing behind us. A figure I didn't recognize. It was blurry, but unmistakably there. I snapped my head around, scanning the room. The lights were off and everything was still. But the unease in my stomach told me something was wrong. I went to the window, peered outside, but saw nothing. Just the quiet night. Still, I felt a presence, like someone was watching me. I ran my hand over the screen of my phone, trying to shake off the dread creeping up my spine. I couldn't stop myself from reading the next message. I'm so sorry, but I had to leave. It was the only way to protect you. My mind was racing. Was this some kind of twisted prank? Was I losing my mind? I stared at the message for a few seconds before my phone buzzed again. The next message was different. There was no text this time, just a single, long silence. But the silence was broken by the sound of my brother's voice, distorted, low, and echoing through the speaker. It was the last voicemail he left me before the accident. But this time, the message wasn't just a replay of his voice. It was a warning. They're coming for you. The hairs on the back of my neck stood up. I rushed to open the voicemail, but when I did, it was blank. Empty. Nothing there but static. I was losing control, my thoughts racing. Was it him? Was it really Mark? Or was I just imagining all of this? I turned on every light in the house, the brightness feeling too harsh on my eyes. But no matter how many lights I switched on, the darkness outside my window seemed to grow deeper, more suffocating. I couldn't shake the feeling that someone, or something, was waiting for me just beyond the glass. I walked back to the living room, phone still in hand, my fingers clenching around it tightly. That's when I saw it. A figure in the corner of the room. It wasn't clear at first, just a dark shape, barely visible in the shadows. But when I blinked, it was gone. My breath hitched. Was I seeing things? Or had something truly appeared in my house? The terror was now completely overwhelming, and I was starting to lose track of what was real and what wasn't. I felt my pulse racing as I slowly backed away from the spot where I saw the figure, trying to steady my breath. My phone buzzed once more, and the dread that had been building in me reached its peak. I hesitated but couldn't stop myself. I looked at the screen, but there was no new message. Only a call. I pressed the button to accept the call, and to my shock, it was him. Mark. His voice came through the phone, unmistakably clear, despite everything that had happened. "You need to listen to me." His voice was soft but urgent, like it always had been when he was alive. I froze, unable to speak. The phone crackled, and the line went dead. For a split second, I thought I had imagined it. But then, his voice came again, this time louder, almost desperate. "They are in the house." The words were a chill I could physically feel crawling down my spine. Before I could react, the phone cut off again, leaving me in complete silence. The shadow in the corner of the room reappeared, this time clearer, more distinct. It was closer now, and I could feel its presence like a weight pressing down on me. I wasn't alone. The silence that followed was deafening. I stood there, paralyzed, as I stared into the corner where the figure had once been. My heart hammered in my chest, every muscle in my body screaming to run, but my feet were glued to the floor. Was it him? Was Mark really trying to warn me? Or was something far darker at play? I took a shaky breath and turned towards the window, the feeling of being watched more intense than ever. Outside, the world seemed unchanged, the same peaceful street, the same quiet neighborhood. But I knew better now. Something had crossed over, and it wasn't just the message, it was the warning. As I glanced back at my phone, I could almost hear his voice again in the back of my mind, echoing through the silence. "Don't trust it.